Amid uncertainty over the future of an India-US trade deal, purportedly leaked audio recordings of US Senator Ted Cruz have now shed light on what may be holding up the agreement. Reportedly, Senator Cruz has allegedly blamed White House trade advisor Peter Navarro, Vice President J.D. Vance, and President Donald Trump for delaying the trade deal with India. In phone calls with donors, Cruz is reported to have said that he was battling the White House to secure the deal. The report comes as India-US trade negotiations continue after several months of talks. This is not a very good look for the United States of America. My colleague Aditya Vadavan with us on the broadcast. Aditya, take our viewers through the details.
Well, absolutely, Devika, definitely, as far as the India-US trade deal is concerned, definitely, we saw recently the statements of the U.S. Treasurer Secretary Scott Bessent that the United States of America might reduce the 25% tariffs levied on India, considering the fact that India has now lessened its Russian oil import, and we have seen recently also U.S. President Donald Trump had passed a bipartisan bill that anybody doing a business with Russia will be met with 500% tariffs by America. So clearly at this juncture, definitely, if you see, there is a possibility of a mutually beneficial trade deal between India and the United States of America. And considering the fact, it needs to be seen how things unfold in this scenario, because last year also, we saw the U.S. trade team came twice to India. However, still, it needs to be seen how the talks regarding the U.S. trade deal goes forward. Devika, back to you.
Okay, all right. Let me also quickly get in a word from Major Gigi Dwivedi on this as well. Major Dwivedi, just shifting our focus a little bit from our own Republic Day celebrations to a slightly larger conversation about the India-US trade deals. Reports now coming in that a US Senator, Ted Cruz, has in fact reportedly leaked audios that now indicate that it's Donald Trump himself, along with Peter Navarro and Vice President J.D. Vance, who are holding up the deal with India.
Devika, I think this is a very important conversation, and deviation is very much appreciated. The point is that India-US trade deal is very important because US is a very important partner for India, not only for trade but also for our strategic interest, our defense interest, and therefore I think we need to hammer out some of these contentious issues, especially as far as India is concerned, our protection of agriculture, and as far as America is concerned, President Trump personally was annoyed with a huge import of oil from Russia, because we are importing before the Ukraine war only about 1 to 2%, and this import of oil went up to almost 30% plus. So I think this give and take is very important, and President Trump is a person who has very strong, I would say, opinions. He has very strong kind of a persona, and therefore it's very important to deal with the leadership of US, especially of President Trump. And I think that our leadership is quite mature and we have taken a very considered approach. But point is that some of the contentious issues need to be resolved, because the earlier this trade deal comes through, better it is, because our trade with America is almost to the tune of $90 billion, and India has a favorable trade balance about $40–45 billion. And more importantly, this balance will be actually to some large extent obviated because of our defense deals, and we are importing engines and other defense equipment. So I feel that this trade deal must be actually realized or finalized at the earliest, because these contentious issues must not be allowed to impede the process. And yes, of course, there are certain people in America like Navarro and party who actually has been very impedimential. Their approach has been very negative but this need to be gotten over through our diplomatic acumen, and our diplomacy has to come into play, because please understand, Devika, today trade actually has been weaponized. The trade has become the driver of geopolitics. So we need to go into this, hammer out this trade deal, and earlier the better. I'm sure the we have come overcome most of these impediments, and especially was the Russian oil, which we have come down quite a bit. I think today our imports are they are dwindling day by day, and I feel that with our maturity and also with our management of American leadership, particularly President Trump, we should be able to get the deal through. It is good and it is beneficial to both India and America.
Okay,